Archie, with his untamed mop of brown hair and a perpetually scraped knee, had a secret. A secret he didn't even know was a secret. His favorite pastime was pulling Sarah's pigtails, hiding her bright pink lunchbox, or, his personal masterpiece, replacing her fruit snacks with broccoli florets. Sarah, all fiery red hair and indignant glares, would chase him with the fury of a pint-sized dragon, and Archie would just laugh, a bubbling, joyous sound that echoed across the playground. He would call her stupid and annoying, then probably would go back to devising his next elaborate prank. Middle school brought with it a new level of confusion for Archie. The pigtail pulling stopped, replaced by an awkward silence whenever Sarah entered a room. He'd find himself meticulously adjusting his backpack straps, avoiding her gaze as if it held the power to turn him to stone. His friends would joke, "Look, Archie's gone quiet, Sarah must be around." And a hot blush would creep up his neck. He was terrified of her, terrified of the way his stomach flipped when she smiled, terrified of the possibility that she might see through his carefully constructed wall of indifference and discover the churning, uncertain feelings he had for her. He convinced himself it was just a phase, a temporary glitch in his otherwise perfectly normal, Sarah-free existence. Years melted into a decade, then more. Life pulled them in different directions after high school, each pursuing their own dreams and navigating the complexities of young adulthood. Archie, now a budding architect, was sketching designs for a new community center when his phone buzzed. It was an invitation to a high school reunion. He almost didn't go, but something, a flicker of curiosity, perhaps, pushed him out the door. He spotted her across the crowded room, her fiery red hair now a sophisticated auburn, framing a smile that still made his stomach do a funny flip. Sarah, no longer the indignant dragon, but a poised, confident woman. Their eyes met, and a hesitant smile played on her lips. "Archie, is that really you?" she asked, her voice carrying a warmth he hadn't remembered. They started talking and talked for hours, reliving old memories, sharing stories of their lives, and laughing, truly laughing, for the first time in years. The conversation flowed effortlessly, like a long-lost melody finally found. A few months later, Archie found himself on one knee, a velvet box clutched in his trembling hand, the very box he'd designed to hold the most important question of his life. Sarah, with tears in her eyes and that same radiant smile, said yes. On their wedding day, as they stood before their friends and family, exchanging vows, Archie looked at his beautiful bride, his heart overflowing. He thought back to the scraped knees and the stolen lunchboxes, the awkward silences and the unspoken fears. He chuckled, a soft, loving sound. He'd come a long way from the little boy who teased the girl he secretly adored, from the teenager who'd been in denial and paralyzed by fear. He realized now that all along, every silly prank, every awkward avoidance, had been leading him to this moment, to this woman, his Sarah. One evening, months after the wedding, they were reminiscing over old photo albums. They found a picture from elementary school, Sarah scowling, holding her now famous broccoli-filled lunchbox, and Archie looking incredibly guilty nearby. Sarah nudged him. "You know, all that time you were being such a terror, I thought you just hated me." Archie laughed, a deeper, more self-aware sound than his childhood giggle. "I was terrified of you, Sarah. You were so smart and fiery. I liked you so much that my brain short-circuited and decided the best way to handle it was to be the most annoying human being on the planet. I spent my whole middle school life in denial because I was afraid you'd reject the guy who was mean to you." Sarah leaned her head on his shoulder. "Well, I certainly don't think you hate me now," she said, giving him a playful, affectionate pinch. "I guess all that confusing energy finally found its way home." They built a life on a foundation of genuine friendship, shared laughter, and a deep, enduring love that was stronger because it had survived childhood confusion, teenage denial, and a decade apart.